Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well, hope you're all doing fantastic, and that you're all having a great day. Don't forget to subscribe to my other channel called Money Rules. There's a link in the description below. And without any further ado, let's jump right into it. Simply because I think it's nearly impossible for us to bathe in the happiness of what currently or recently happened. The discussion has once again heavily shifted back to the idea of interest rate cuts. I know we just had one, but alas, everyone is anticipating or thinking about where the market could go next. And that's mainly because there's actually thousands, if not millions, of different factors at this point. The anticipation is that a Fed rate cut of any kind is going to kind of propel the market or markets around the world to move a lot higher. There's still some trepidation. There's still some fear that it might have taken the Fed too long. If you missed the other videos, the discussion was that apparently the Fed should have lowered interest rates at the beginning of this year. It took them 4 years of raising interest rates and not lowering them at all, and it might have been too little too late. So the idea is that JP Morgan Chase basically announced so first of all, there were many different companies and institutions who announced or had the idea that they were going to lower interest rates by 0.5 point. Got it. JP Morgan Chase being the largest of all of them, who said 0.5%, basically is the one who keeps making it into the news. There's a lot of different issues with all of this, and the one that kind of sticks out like a sore thumb is the idea that the Fed needs to lower interest rates more. This is why we heard before the current one that we just got that the Fed needs to do it in November, in December, potentially in January, and banks were already anticipating a good 1.5 to 2% cut next year, which also, of course, helps out the crypto market and the bull run and stuff like that. But the problem lies a lot deeper. It's all the money that was printed basically to help and save corporations and institutions that didn't go to actual Americans or families who were actually in need. That was also a big, I don't know if you remember when all that like extra money was printed. And basically if you were a company or a corporation, you were able to like kind of like ask for the money kind of for free, air quotes, like, hey, my business is struggling, we need some kind of money. I don't know if any of you remember, but the NBA got in trouble because allegedly they were also asking for like millions of dollars that they didn't need. There were tons and tons of companies who like took that money and basically literally ran away with it for free. So the way that the economy works is that people have to buy things. I know that sounds evident, but it's in a very more dramatic way. Every time that something economically terrible or sad or whatever ends up happening, people are constantly told to go out and consume more. I don't know if you have seen any of the videos. Some of them are on CNBC. You can find them on Bloomberg. You can definitely find them on YouTube. There's a lot of videos about why aren't people buying more? Why aren't people consuming as much as they did before? Why isn't the average American buying as much? Like there are all these indexes where you can see how much people were spending in 2017, 18, 19, and then the spending collapsed. For those of you who don't know, the idea was that that $1,200 check and nothing else was meant to revive the economy. They think that you're dumb enough to take that $1,200 and not save it and therefore throw it back into the market. You buy stuff, you kind of get the thrill of consuming. I'm telling you, like, this is really how it is. The thrill of consuming again, and then therefore you kind of continue spending. The other issue is layoffs. The world markets are anticipating further layoffs from a large number of companies and corporations simply because their shareholders are more important than you. For those of you who didn't realize it, whenever people get fired, they will literally have a news conference, or they'll say during some kind of a press thing to their shareholders, like, look, we fired 10,000 people, and therefore we've made money back essentially for the shareholders. So when rent keeps going up, when the car insurance and all kinds of insurance keeps going up, housing prices are going up, food prices are going up, and then we have these people telling us that inflation is only 2.3%, we know that they're lying. So the discussion then swings back to, why aren't people spending? The Fed says everything is okay. It's because people aren't idiots. People spend a huge amount of their paycheck on their rent, on their living expenses, and that's before taxes. Remember I told you there was a video of this woman. It was the weirdest thing because it didn't make sense until she said it. She was talking about how much money she made, and she was like just making like a smidge above minimum wage, which also hasn't moved at all. Once again, if you get a chance to look at any charts, you know how like if your boss tells you like you're gonna get a raise or something like that, and if you look at the actual percentage of it, it's usually just matching inflation. Most wages adjusted for inflation are the exact same as they were in the 70s and 80s. You're not really making any more money. So they were talking to this woman, and she was talking about how much money she makes. She was going over everything. She was saying on an average month, she's making around 25,000, which is, excuse me, but it's nothing. You should all be making a lot more money than that. Not even from like a, like do better, but like, no, like the system is rigged to make sure that you're not getting what you need. She was explaining how much her rent was, how much her this was, how much her so-and-so. She can't afford insurance. She can't afford like a whole bunch of other things. And it was basically like she was saying her living expenses come out to like $2,400, $2,500 per month. If you're keeping track, that's more than what she's currently making. And she was saying it's even crazier because she still has to pay taxes on that paycheck. She was like, I don't have enough money to like even barely survive. And these are the people, not like survive at all. And these are the people who they keep making articles about. Why aren't they spending more? Why aren't they consuming? There was just an article about credit card debt that I saw, where credit card debt is not rising as quickly as expected. Do you want to know why this was seen as a negative? Because people are expected to go out and consume. If the economy's not doing well, they expect these people who have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 credit cards to go out and buy, to keep getting into more debt. The more debt that they get into, the more that they have to pay back banks forever. So when people are being smart and saving their money, that's seen as a negative. A lot of people, and when I say like research and learn more about Bitcoin and stuff, what a lot of people don't get is that Bitcoin is deflationary, and it will take a while for people to really like wrap their heads around it. The current system that we have and have nearly always had is inflationary. Things always get more and more expensive. This is great for governments and this is great for companies because they can show that the GDP is rising mathematically because of inflation every single year. The difference is that Bitcoin is made deflationary so that you are incentivized to save. The current system does not want you to save your money. You're not meant to save it. This is why we're constantly seeing this crunch and why things like they're trying to squeeze as much money out of you as possible. That's like literally to the maximum. That's the point of the system. You are meant to always be in debt. You are meant to always be struggling, but they will give you videos and show you things of this person whose parents were already rich, who made a company and then became a billionaire and say, that's the American way. And it's not. Everyone is struggling. there was just a video that I saw, and if I had rolled my eyes anymore, I would have started flying into the air. They were showing this, the tagline was, dropped out of university at 18, billionaire by 23. And you watch the video, this isn't a normal person. This person had parents. He went to all the elite private schools his entire life. He had a huge injection of money when he turned 18. And instead of going to school, he decided to make a business with the millions of dollars that he had and the connections that his parents had. But you keep hearing these things as like, you can do it too. Of course, it's super easy to become a billionaire. Anyway, so where we currently are right now, besides all the drama and everything we were just talking about, is that JP Morgan has again announced that they think that the Fed in November will lower interest rates by another 0.5% and then potentially do it in December. The idea being is that they want interest rates, of course, a lot lower. So not only can they take out money with a lower interest rate, but the idea is to get consumers spending again. Start paying attention to the news and listen to how they talk about us. Listen to how they talk about retail investors. Listen to how they talk about consumers. Whenever it's Christmas time, you always notice that like markets tend to like rally a little bit. It's because of the expectation that you are going to go out and consume. You need to buy gifts. You need to buy things to go and make yourself feel happy. So all these companies end up doing extremely well. It's literally like a trap that they don't want you to get out of. JP Morgan Chase sees the possibility of the Federal Reserve making another significant cut in November, possibly by 50 basis points. I don't have to read anymore. You get the general idea. Yeah, world markets aren't doing very well. I told you that in another video as well. There's some kind of really weird delusion in crypto, but also in parts of the world where people don't realize that other events are taking place. People keep pretending that it's just the United States who is like going through stuff. No, there are other countries who have like 15% inflation, 25% inflation. Like people, like if you think people in the US are struggling, imagine being desperate enough to be like, I need to buy Bitcoin because it's less volatile than my fiat currency. So, yeah, there's probably also going to be some more money printing, which is what a lot of people are expecting relatively soon from multiple different governments. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. And once again, for those of you who don't know, the only people who are going to benefit from rate cuts are basically people who have assets. We've talked about that a couple of other times before. So inflation is going to go back up around the world and asset prices will rise. But for the other 7 billion people on the planet who don't have any assets, it's only going to get worse for them. Yeah, that's the JP Morgan Chase sees another rate cut in November. And yeah, let's move on. Also in the news, Bitcoin addresses holding 0.1 BTC have reached a new all-time high. The cryptocurrency landscape is witnessing a notable trend as the number of Bitcoin addresses holding a tenth of a Bitcoin or more approaches a new all-time high. This is actually wonderful. A lot of times years ago, or rather I'll say it this way, the only people we have been told who are selling constantly have been retail investors. We had news a couple of weeks ago that the addresses holding 1/100th of a Bitcoin have also begun to rise as well. This is a heavy indicator that people who basically left the market are slowly re-entering the market. They're also beginning to accumulate as well. I mean, it's always going to be a percentage of people. This isn't everyone who's going to enter the market and or re-enter the market. But it's usually, I think, when I scream or rant loud enough that more people begin to realize exactly what's taking place. A large portion of, if not nearly all the Bitcoin, is being held and hoarded by the richest people on the planet. And I think a lot of normal people begin to realize that something is up, and therefore they begin to buy as well. Not that it's not the most exciting thing. It's more of it's great to see that people are re-entering the market. It's great to see that people are accumulating. And I say that off the basis of, if Bitcoin does hit $500,000, if Bitcoin goes to $1.3 million per coin, you should also be able to benefit from it as well. It shouldn't just constantly be the wealthiest people on the planet who are making all the money. They already have enough money. This accumulation is happening across multiple different coins, but of course, Bitcoin and Ethereum tend to be the most discussed, if you will. Yeah, it's very nice to see like optimism and bullishness re-entering the market. We're back at that time frame, Q4, that everyone's been talking about. So let's see what ends up happening to prices. That's the 0.1 BTC all-time high news. And yeah, let's move on. This is kind of weird. It's not weird news. Robinhood, for whatever reason, remains incredibly popular. I'm sure some of you love it and you would, protect it vigorously. I don't know. A lot of times if I talk bad about a company that other people don't own, people get very upset with me in the comment section. Remember a couple of months ago, I remember I mentioned Twitter and everyone was writing, "It's called X, bro." And I was like, you don't own Twitter. You will never own Twitter. You don't own any stake in Twitter. Like imagine, like Apple phones. Imagine if I called it baked pie. Would you get upset because I called it baked pie? Does that make you angry because you don't own a portion of baked pie? Does it really matter? Absolutely not. You don't own the company. And even if you did, you own the company. You're worth billions. What are you arguing online for? So for some reason, Robinhood continues to be incredibly popular, regardless of what they allegedly did to people holding stocks and crypto before in the past. And they gave that half behind apology afterwards. Robinhood continues to be popular within the cryptocurrency space. There was something recently with Robinhood and XRP, which also got people really excited. You know that there are other places to buy crypto, right? I think that was some discussion that we had in 2022 as well. Whenever Robinhood lists something, people get really excited, but it's not 2014 anymore. So like back then, you only had Mt. Gox and you had Coinbase. What's the point of getting excited when something gets listed on Robinhood? Because you already have Coinbase, you have Kraken, you have Binance, you have Gemini, you have Huobi, you have 7 other exchanges. I don't get it. Like I honestly, can someone explain it to me? I know that it's meant to be a cool, young, hip platform. Do you feel better about your life because you use Robinhood? That's an honest question. Like what coin did they add to their platform? This was years ago, and the coin skyrocketed the day that they did it, more than it pumped when they put it onto Binance and to Coinbase. And I was like, this coin has been available on other platforms for 3 years. Like, do you feel cooler? Is Robinhood like the new baked pie? Like, is that because, like, you know how I didn't even realize that people were this deep into it. I've seen so many people making fun of other people for having an Android, and I'm like, that's what gives you joy in life? You have nothing else going on that you make memes and make fun of people online for having an Android? Anywho, the European-based crypto arm of online brokerage platform Robinhood dedicated a thread on Twitter to discuss Shiba Inu. Okay. The post was titled, "Let's Talk SHIB," one of crypto's most popular stories. Detailed as a brief summary of Shiba Inu's launch and its community-driven success. I told you all this a couple of times before. Shiba Inu's really popular. Like almost like oddly popular. Dogecoin isn't really popular. It's only like spoken about and talked about by people who like Elon Musk. That's not one thing. I go over news every single day. Like I know what's going on. Dogecoin never has any news. There are no updates. There are no upgrades. There was something recently where like people in the Dogecoin space told the creators or the people who run the code or whatever to like start doing more. And then they announced that they want to give Dogecoin smart contracts and all these other things. And it's like, but that news fell flat. It was nowhere. The only people who celebrated it were on Twitter. And also the other thing before, Elon Musk, oh gosh, what was it? He wrote some kind of name for a position that he wants to hold, and it spelled out Doge, and people were like, yeah! And it's like, okay. Shiba Inu's really popular. Like, it's almost like kind of weird. Remember, years ago, the main Shiba Inu news was always about, like, burning coins. The burn rate went up by 22,000%. It's like it was a loop all the time. That and Terra Luna Classic, which has also basically kind of disappeared from the news. Shiba Inu is like, and I say it lightly, is actually doing something. They have a metaverse. They have an NFT platform. They have smart contracts. They have like multiple layers of like, they have layer 2 solutions and side chains and other coins. And I don't, does anyone still hold Dogecoin? I'm asking as like a real question. Like, do you still like it? And I'm not telling you to shift over to Shiba Inu because they're both memes, but it's more of a, I felt like the joke was kind of over in like 2016, but people keep pretending that Dogecoin is like literally going to make them billions of dollars. If you missed the other video before, there was something, this must have been more than maybe 2 months ago. Time is flying by. Where the article was discussing that Dogecoin was, oh gosh, how did they frame it? It was something about like supply crunch. Dogecoin is so and so and so. And I was like, what? And then I showed you all the chart in the actual thing. I think Dogecoin inflates by 5 million new coins a day. And I was like, there's no supply crunch. Like the supply will go up forever. I don't understand that at all. Robinhood Crypto Europe stated that a pseudonymous developer called Ryoshi created Shiba Inu on the 31st of July in 2020. According to Robinhood, Shiba Inu launched on this date with an initial supply of, geez Louise, I was gonna count those zeros, 100,000 million billion trillion, oh my word. With an initial supply of 1 quadrillion coins. Maybe that's why all the burn news is always so prominent. Because they have to burn 1 quadrillion coins. Holy guacamole. Notably, Robinhood mentioned how Ryoshi gifted half of Shiba Inu's supply, 500 trillion. Oh, really? He gave 500 trillion coins to Vitalik Buterin. I assume he also destroyed those coins. Vitalik has a thing where he like gets coins and either sends them to a burn address or he swaps them back into Ether. But I think we would have heard about that swap. Per Robinhood, Shiba Inu's creators designed the token to be run by its community, demonstrating its commitment to decentralization. It kind of keeps going on. It was basically like a thing that got Shiba Inu people kind of riled up in like a good way, not like in an angry way. That this platform was basically talking about them in such a positive light. Cool. Awesome. It's been a couple of weeks. We haven't had any Shiba Inu burn news. That used to be daily, and then it was kind of weekly. I know it's still very popular, so I hope you guys, whoever's holding that coin, that you get to 1 cent or 2 cents, dare I say, so that you can all become rich from it. Yeah, awesome. And I'll throw this in there. there are a lot of cryptocurrency communities within this space, and a lot of them are more intense than others. The Shiba Inu community, as far as I can tell, even on Twitter, they seem to be like the least problematic. I don't think I've ever heard of anyone saying anything negative about them or them kind of being mean to any other project. You cannot say the same for Bitcoin. People who love Bitcoin hate everything else. People who love Ether think Bitcoin is going to be usurped. People who love XRP don't like Bitcoin and think every other coin is garbage. People who like Cardano really like Cardano, and they have a lot of interestingly intense conversations on Twitter about other coins and other projects. And a lot of other people who created these coins can be interesting at multiple times. But I don't think I've ever heard anything negative about Shiba Inu. Like no bad news or anyone bad mouthing anyone. That's how it should be. Like, why is everyone so, you know that being mean to people won't make you richer? Did you know that? Did you figure out in life that if you tell someone else to like buy the thing that you're holding and not the thing that they like, it won't make you any more like money? Like, you know, just let people be. What's the point of being like, I mean, honestly, what's the point of being mean to everyone? What's the point of starting like crazy conversations or lying about coins or saying this about a chain or something about this company or that? People really have nothing better to do. Like, I can't conceptualize having nothing to do during my day. Well, I saw that guy has hair, and he said I heard him say the letter X, so he must be working with XRP. XRP's a scam. Get away from it. Like, what are you talking? I don't understand. And the last point, the craziest part is, these are going to be the people who don't make any money this cycle. It's the same every single time. The people who literally like complain and scream the loudest and talk negatively about like every other project and every other coin, and they're the people who don't make any money. They keep swapping their coins all the time, trying to trade and day trade or just whatever, or they end up getting into like a terrible coin. I don't understand it, and I don't think I want to understand it. Anywho, yeah, that's the Robinhood spoke about Shiba Inu, and it was popular, or people liked it. Sure, why not? Hope it goes up in price for you guys. I think that's going to do it for this video. I do hope that you've all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.